Okay, you ready?
If I can smile. Yeah.
Can you smile?
I think
Everybody's worried about your tooth. Okay, wait, we gotta say
Good morning.
Although I think it's about 12:30.
Yeah, we're always a little bit late.
Well, because I
Or a
work
little bit early or a little bit late.
till midnight on Sunday night, so it's Monday morning.
She works all the time.
Yeah, I worked Saturday again doing truck till 1, and then I went back at 8 and worked till midnight Saturday night because they didn't have anyone. And then I worked from 4 to midnight yesterday. Anywho,
You
but
worry your mother.
it's a hot one here, isn't it?
It is hot and it's going to be hot.
Oh, it's gonna
Right?
get hotter.
It's going to get hotter.
So I did the bike review, the one that's been sitting. It's pretty much a fixture now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I'm going to miss it in
Yeah,
my
right,
living room.
exactly. I did that last week. I'm just waiting for the okay from the business, and then I can upload that. And then I have a scooter that I need to finish putting together. It doesn't take much to put the scooter. This is a nice scooter. And I'm gonna go do that today because it's supposed to be like 95 and 97.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be the coolest day, and it's gonna be 90.
Can't you put it together up here?
Yeah, I'll put it together up here, and then
That's what I mean.
and
yeah.
I'm going to Como.
Oh, and then you're going to do the review right away.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it to Como instead of
And-
White Bear. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Why? I mean, is
well,
there
a scooter is easier to travel with because I can't put the bike in the back of the van.
I see. Okay.
So I gotta use my backpack that I bought last week. You know, my camera
Well,
backpack.
goody, you get to use it.
Well, I used it last week because that's what I put my
Oh, I didn't know that.
camera stuff in because I have to do
Yeah.
that by myself. Anyway, and
It's
somebody asked me.
Really going to come in handy. Yeah.
Somebody asked me how, like, I get these things to do reviews, and I don't solicit anybody. They reach out to me, and listen, I can't even field all the emails that I get, and it's so interesting. I say no, or I can't even respond to some people because I just don't have the time. But like somebody just wrote me because I didn't respond, and it was for a university, like doing a sponsorship talking about like a university.
Yeah.
And I say, I don't think that's my branding. Do you know what I mean? And then two people wanted me to like do sponsorships for like vitamins. And the last person wanted me to do it for fiber. I think they know that we're in the age group that, you know, we may need some fiber, which I've taken fiber. But I said,
Were they going to pay you for it?
Yeah, but I can't. I'm like, I'm not talking about fiber and...
No, you want something more exciting than fiber.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not my branding. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, scooters and, you know, not fiber.
I understand, and you're absolutely right. Yes.
But it's just crazy with sometimes
Something.
adventurous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Exciting. Yes.
Is fiber exciting?
No. Only to your bowel.
I suppose if you haven't pooped in like a week, it's exciting, right?
I don't know. I guess you could make it exciting. I don't know.
Yeah, should I see you challenge myself if I can make talking about fiber exciting?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Fiber,
I just chuckle to myself sometimes. I'm like, why would you think that I would be a good representation of talking about some of this stuff? Anywho.
I don't know.
So that's how those work. Like somebody's like, how do you get all these reviews? That's how they reach out to me. And then I'm like, yes or no. And as you see, it's mostly the e-bikes and the scooters. And like I said, the stuff that's for the van
Yes.
that I can use. I mean, I've had water filtration systems. Like somebody keeps reaching out to me and I'm like, I can't use it. I'm like, you know, I don't use my sink. Anyway, I mean, I use my sink, but I don't use my water.
Yes, I understand.
So, let's see. What's new? What's new? What's new? Jinx.
What's new?
Oh, everybody, how's your tooth? Everybody wanted to know how your tooth was.
Fine. I wouldn't say I want to do a root canal regularly, but
The bill hurt more than the
root.
root.
Wasn't uncomfortable at all.
The bill hurt more than the root.
bill. Oh my God.
That hurt more than the root canal.
Oh, but and then he gave me an antibiotic. He said in case, I guess when they're digging.
Well, you had an infection before.
And I did
that,
have an infection before. So it's getting, it hurt a little bit. It still hurts a little bit when I bite down.
Yeah.
But it did that before. It's not the canal. It's I had an infection in it before.
And he had to redo one that the last doctor that did it a long time ago didn't do it correctly. He only did
He did what?
He didn't do it correctly. He only did like
evidently not, but that was many years
But what I
ago.
thought was interesting is they charged you more than, because at first they said it was going to be $1,500 just for the root canal. The other stuff was $150 for the exam, $250 for the what do you call it? The scans, the X-rays. But you had already had all those X-rays done anyway.
Well, each doctor does his own. Since
they can charge.
I usually only went to the one doctor for dentist for 40
But
years.
each one referred you, so they all know each other, and they should be able to send it on since they referred you. But I don't know how it works.
He was so nice,
and
his assistant.
He was really nice.
They made it worth that. Not really.
Well, it's like Dr. Galani. When you see Dr. Galani.
Dr. Galani.
Well, and Dr. Grau called that night. They had my number.
Yeah.
Just like Dr. Galani, just to check up. And that was just a root canal, just to check up and see if you were doing okay.
And I think that is very nice. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Well, for $2,000, he better call and see.
But I have to tell you, his office, his assistant, I really liked him too. He was nice. And he took me to a couple machines or whatever they're called. They're fantastic. And his whole area looked like futuristic. I even said, what was that guy's name? Do you know? The assistant.
No, I don't know. I never met the doctor because I dealt with the assistant all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't talk to him because he was doing
in your mouth.
Canal. But anyway, he had I can see why it's expensive. He has all these instruments, and there's several rooms, and he took me to one, and you put things all over, and then you take a picture. And I said, I feel like I'm on a futuristic voyage,
Well, even at the periodontist now for the X-ray, he just brought like an X-ray gun, and remember Dr. Wallachek? They had to lay that lead thing over you, and then they'd walk out of the room and push the button, and he still had that when he retired.
Well, I even said to Dr. Wallachek, come on, be brave. Stay in here when you do that. Don't leave me alone.
Yeah, you was.
I knew him.
Yeah,
for 50 years he was my dentist.
But now
dentist.
It cost you $2,000, and you didn't even get a cap for it. So now we have to go to the dentist to pay for. And you know how much a cap is? Like
I hope that's not $2,000.
A cap is like $800.
Is it really just a cap?
A porcelain? I had the story.
We never had dental bills like that years ago.
And then, then you have to get that tooth pulled and get a bridge in there, or get a...
I don't know if I'm going to get that tooth pulled for a while. It looks fine to me.
Well, it's dead.
It doesn't look dead, and it doesn't hurt, and it's not loose. So I was thinking, and it's on the bottom, it's right here.
Yeah.
And it looks nice. And it doesn't hurt. That's the main thing. It doesn't hurt. If it hurt,
Well, we'll talk
to I'm just, I'm so old, I'm going to say, if it starts to bother me or anything, or turn black, I don't know, do teeth turn black?
I don't know.
When they die?
We'll talk about it with them.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to hear about my dead tooth.
We do. Oh, we do.
No, they're waiting. They're waiting. Yeah.
On pins and needles.
No,
yeah.
It's. I'll let you know if I get rid of it.
We'll have a ceremony for it.
Yes.
Like I did for Leaf. Does anybody remember Leaf? Remember the bug that I had, the grasshopper? I think it was in Sedona.
Well, you do get attached.
It was a bug, yeah.
To these things.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a burial ceremony for him. Anywho, and then for the book.
The book. Yes.
So
I'm halfway through it.
she's halfway through the whole book.
Yes.
Joy reads.
Well, I have a lot more time than you do.
Yeah, I'm almost done with my 5 chapters, but and again, like you said, it's stuff that we already like
Yes.
talk about and put into
Oh, yeah.
practice. So for us, it's like a good reminder. And if I know some people who have their like, it's like you said, it's with religion and it's with like it's. Do you know what I mean? They reference God and stuff like that, but they also are aware of like calling it source. Do you know what I mean? If
Yes.
it's just energy, and so it's very
Well, I mean,
it's really good though, and it's just about putting good energy out there. Because if you're thinking good thoughts, really everything is energy, and you're putting that out there. And so if you're putting negative thoughts out there, then that's what you're gonna attract.
and it's always been that way.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and that's the way, and scientists have known that for years.
And it said it's science-based,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, but I think Friday night, we're gonna do a live
Okay.
to discuss it. And right now,
And
that's,
whoever wants to watch it.
yeah.
can watch.
And then that's the thing. So then we'll have the live, and then if you just want to watch, because then I'll put that up, as a video. And so then if you're interested in maybe just listening to the conversation, you can watch that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten the book or you don't want to be part of
Yeah.
it, that's fine. Maybe you're just interested in listening about us talk about it.
And oh, by the way, years ago I read about, if any of the people watching know what the 100th monkey story is, it's about consciousness and how, and these scientists, I don't know if they were scientists, but they worked in that studying monkeys and other things,
Like Rachel.
I think
Remember
they're-
Rachel worked with the monkeys?
Yes, well, I mean, I think that's what they were. And they decided to, on this one island, this was in Japan, by the way, on this one island, they decided to throw coconuts. Was it coconuts? It was something down. They dropped them on the island by the ocean there.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sand, and they watched them from 1952 to, it was for 10 years, quite a while. They kept an eye on these monkeys when they started doing this, and they would the monkeys loved the coconuts, but they didn't like the sand on it. I don't know if the monkeys told them that, but they could tell. They could tell. 'Cause
Hey, we don't like the sand on the coconut.
Yeah, but I mean, they had cameras on them and stuff, I guess. I don't know how they watched them, but they did. And then over time, for some reason, maybe a coconut fell in the shoreline, and the monkeys realized that it washed all the sand off, and so they started washing their coconuts in the water. And then time went by, and they found out that by a certain number, like if consciousness is quite a few people are conscious of something new, it takes so many, and then it's
normal.
Everybody is
Right.
conscious of it.
Right.
That's consciousness, and that's why I think the positive thinking and all. But anyway, and then years, I forget how many years it was. It must have been about 7 or 8 years. They found that all the monkeys on all the islands were washing their coconuts off.
We're watching their nuts off.
Yes, and
Monkey nuts?
I mean, I read that story years ago, and I read something that mentioned it, and it all came back to me, and it had, you know, it's so if everybody uses all these positive things, thinking, I think it's more than 20 though. It's more like 20 million have to know.
So we got to get to 20 million followers on here, so you're all conscious.
And then all of a
because you're
sudden,
unconscious, yeah.
but all of a sudden everybody will be filled with love.
Let's hope so.
I don't think it'll be that easy, but
Well, I had an interesting, so working at Walgreens last night, this
What?
lady came in and and I don't know how we started talking. She was buying some something, whatever, and I don't even know those shoes. She goes, I'm from out of town. She was from North Carolina.
yeah.
And I said, oh, I've been to North Carolina. And I don't know how we started talking about like energy and stuff. And I said, oh, I live in a van. And she's like, oh my gosh, you know, you have to share that. And I said, well, I do. I have a YouTube channel. She goes, and then we were talking about like positive energy and reading, because she's into that. And I had my metaphysics books there because I was reading it. And I said, well, look what I'm reading. It's all about, you know, love and positive energy, because she wants to start a podcast. And she's like, you know, because she's all about women, helping other women and a collective, you know, knowing, supporting each other so we can do things. And you know, then I started telling her about going to Bali. And I think I have like 10 women interested in going to Bali. And it's like, because people want to travel, but you don't want to do it alone. You know, it can be scary. And then, because I think if the Bali thing works out, that maybe once or twice a year, I will plan like a women's trip.
Wouldn't that be great?
To go traveling, because I really want to go to Alaska and do dog sledding and see like the northern lights and stuff. So if you're interested in that, that may be the next, after Bali. We'll go from Bali to Alaska, the beach to dog mushing.
There you go.
But,
I mean,
and so she was like, wow, I can't believe, she goes, I believe that everything has led me to this Walgreens to talk to you about this. And she's starting a podcast. And I said, well, listen, just do it. I go, and if you need somebody to support you, because she's following my channel, I said, my email is in there. Just reach out to me and I'll give you some,
yes.
you know.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, well, thanks, Mom. But yeah, it's just interesting how, like, to even like be in Walgreens and have that, something like that talk. And I could hear her as she was walking out, she was like, wow, just wow, like talking to herself, you know? So, and that's it. You spread that, do you know what I mean? Like, like having those conversations, like the random ones. And I said, that's how I felt when I'm traveling and I meet people, you know, when I was handing out the fanny packs, because, you know, I'm bringing the fanny pack back. So now you see people with their fanny pack, but that people like that shared their stories with me.
Yeah.
Remember the lady who didn't have the teeth?
That first year you were out and you were doing all that. I loved when you met those three people.
Yeah.
And she gave you the cape.
Yeah.
And I mean, imagine being so young and being alone. I mean,
and they found each other
I had
to go travel with. And listen, they told me their stories, and they had some really bad upbringings. Do you know what I mean? That led
it's
them.
not their fault.
No.
I mean, they just have been left to fend for themselves.
And then they found each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it was a beautiful story.
I loved
thought.
it.
Yeah.
And then a few other ones. I mean, all of them actually, but I mean, those were unique because didn't you see someone sitting?
Yeah. Well, in Hardee's at one time, that one guy who was alone, or the lady in Fredericksburg. Remember when I had to wait for that package for 2 weeks?
I remember too when you comforted that one young woman. She was on the curb, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is amazing how women are treated.
Arizona,
I mean, now, here and now, and a lot. Oh, how did we get on this
I don't know.
subject? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Anywho,
We don't want to talk about that.
No. What do we want to talk about?
We do want it.
What time do you want to do the live on Friday? We'll do it.
I'm open, honey. I have no
We'll do it at
engagements.
8. You know, my life is so crazy. So we'll do it at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
My calendar is clear.
Okay. I'll talk to your assistant and have her put that on there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You and your dead tooth. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So?
Oh, let's see. I don't know. That's about.
Is that it?
This week has gone by like that.
Oh, I know. You've been so busy. My goodness.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I blinked and it's been gone. And I met Jesse and Bailey at a really cute place in downtown White Bear
They have
yesterday.
an apartment, yeah.
Yeah, they just got their apartment and they're moving in. I think I told you guys about it. They got a pool. It's a new apartment. They have a dog washing station. They're so excited about that.
Can you imagine?
And it's like I said, it reminds me of like a Melrose Place. I don't know if you remember that. It was like all these young people. Was back in the 80s, I think. It was a show. Maybe it was the 90s.
Oh, I
don't know.
No, I don't remember that.
And so it was based in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
And Heather Locklear was in it.
Oh, I remember her.
Yeah.
She's so pretty.
And so it was all these young, beautiful people who lived in this apartment complex. And that's where all the drama happened, and they had a pool and everything, and then somebody, gets to the point where two women are fighting and fall in the pool, and then they start getting too far into the, 3 years later, all of a sudden they're blowing up the apartment complex because there's nothing else to, talk about. But I said, it reminds me of a Melrose Place. So hopefully they'll meet friends there and get to hang out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're excited to be in their own place, and then they can invite friends over and stuff like that. So yeah, hard to invite. I did have a moment this week. Sometimes in the van, you just want to, when you walk in your house, you can just drop everything and then go to a clean part of your house or apartment, you know what I mean? And just lay on your couch or go to your bedroom and not deal with that for a while. And in the van, there's no doing that. There's just no room.
Yeah.
And, when I was doing the scuba, when I was, taking the in water, whatever.
Yeah.
And we had to keep the scuba equipment. So I had a big
Oh
tank.
my gosh.
No wonder my back hurts.
You can bring some of it here.
Well, no, because it was, then I had to just wake up and go the next day. Anyway.
Yeah.
So to have a big tank and then the BCD and then all that stuff, and it's all wet. And
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm dealing it's a bag like this with all wet stuff, and then I got the tank, and you got to drag that in, but then there's no room for me to move around it. And I don't know, this week, don't think that van life is always I know van life isn't always,
Well, no.
but
even house life is not always perfect either.
but there's some times where I'm just I just want to drop it and then just go lay down and forget about it for a while and then come back to it. But in van life, you can't really do that because you can't get in the van.
Yeah.
And same with the e-bikes and, the scooter I can fit in the back of the van. But
What about that one? Are you going to be able to put that together? She
That's-
puts these together by herself.
I do. That's a big one. That one looks like a motorcycle.
It's huge.
I'm excited. That's the one that got stolen, and now I got
Oh,
it.
that's the one that got stolen.
Yeah.
Now well, at least that part of the story turned out great.
Yeah,
That's all over.
That
now.
was an adventure.
So we're back with the bike after it was stolen.
And we don't think anybody here can steal them because they're 90, and unless we see somebody after I put it together doing wheelies down your
Oh yes, yeah.
Although the scooter, they could probably use the scooter. That would be fun.
I would, if I could see, I would take the scooter.
You'd ride up and down, yeah.
Yes, that would be fun. That would be fun.
So that's next. After I get rid of that bike now, and then I'll do the scooter today, and then do the video and edit it. Then I have to send it to the people for them to okay it. And then I'm going to open that box. But I have more things coming.
How many more things?
Couple.
Oh.
Well, they sent, one of them sent something. I always say, are you sending it FedEx? And they say, yes, we're sending it. So then I send it to like where I pick up my stuff because they know me by now. Well, they sent it UPS. Well, FedEx won't accept a UPS box.
Oh.
So they sent it back. So now they have to send it back to me. And then another one sent it FedEx. And for some reason, they wouldn't take it, even though they sent it FedEx, but they wouldn't tell me and they wouldn't tell them why they returned it. So they returned it to, so these are two different businesses.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's been kind of a hassle too dealing with all this. So I don't know, they're both trying to resend it to me, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if those come, but it bides me some time to get these done and out. So you can get some new furniture.
Yeah. So I can get some what?
Well, new furniture, new temporary for. It's like art. It's like artwork in your.
You were being funny.
Well, I don't think it's funny if you have to say.
Well, I don't
and you say it like
mind.
this. You were being funny.
It's like I don't mind. I mean, I have a nice size apartment and now I'm kind of used to them. I might be lonesome when she takes them
I know
out.
you won't know what to do with all that room over there now. That's a big bike. But it is, honestly, so that, I think I said it in another video. This is the same one AD-VAN-TURES makes my power pack, you know, the one that I love.
Oh, yeah.
The one that and I found my charger. I accidentally put it in my computer bag. I was so happy. But that's the one with the handle. I love that power pack. Saves my back.
Yeah.
And anyway, they are the same ones that make that e-bike.
Oh.
And that's a brand new on the market. And that was the smoothest, quietest ride.
That's the best
Yeah.
bike yet. I mean,
It's yeah.
they're all
Yep.
nice, but this
But
is
I even say it in the video.
really nice.
This one took a lot to put together. That took me,
I know, and you know,
but it was worth it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's the best ride so far. So, yeah.
well, you can figure out anything. Remember, she runs into problems, and the one didn't have 2 screws with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's
yeah,
the thing
there's
I was thinking as I was reading the metaphysics book, and you know, people are like, oh, because you know how like the van didn't start the other night. I think I told you guys. I don't know if I told you. And then nobody would help. All these guys were around, and they even sent the 2 guys who
No
were like
help.
standing there talking, and
It's
they're
not like years
I go,
ago.
can you help me? And they're like, no. And then they just kept talking. I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, but you know, I'm frustrated for a minute, and then I'll just sit in my seat and like just ponder, and I'm like, well, it's gonna work out somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it always does.
Like I don't go off the deep end in that thinking. And that's what like the metaphysics is that you think like, oh, it's gonna get taken care of. And guess what? I found a guy, I'm like, hey, can you jump me? He's like, sure. He jumped me and it was all good. I had accidentally left my lights on because it had been raining and I didn't realize it.
And oh, I tell you, that positive thinking is really, it is. It's a truth. I mean, you put good stuff out there and good stuff comes back.
Well, and
you put,
in nothing,
it happens.
you know, emotions go like this. Like, and happiness
Yeah.
is just one emotion. It's
Yeah.
not, you can't really strive to be happy because you're never going to be happy all the time. It's just one emotion out of like a plethora, and you can feel a lot of them at the same time.
And I in all the reading, it's thoughts. It's thoughts. If we could not think, I'm not talking about critical thinking. That's actually what we were supposed to use our little brain up here for. Critical thinking. How to get someplace or how to fix something, or from the beginning, I don't know, probably how to stay alive with all the wild animals. But anyway, we originally thought from our heart, and that's the truth.
Well,
And if there were no thoughts, there would be no world, because it makes continuity and all that.
right.
It's interesting, but it's hard not to think.
Well, and same, so, now I'm really getting into like the scuba and stuff. And I
Yeah.
watched, if you have Netflix, watch, it just came on last week. I stayed up till 1 a.m. because it was so good. I just turned it on. It's called The Deepest Breath, and it's about free diving. So free diving
really?
is you take one breath and then you like go down.
Yeah.
And they compete against who can go the furthest. And I don't know if I told you this, but like when I was scuba diving and my ears were hurting, so I was swimming a little higher. Oh, I wonder who that is. Probably Sandy. Your phone's ringing.
Should I get it? I guess I should.
Go ahead, I'll tell the story.
Excuse me, guys. I gotta get
Now it's you leaving me. So anyway, I was swimming kind of on top of them. I don't know if I told you this. But so, you know, they had all their scuba gear, so all their bubbles were coming up, like right by me. And it was so peaceful and so magical. The bubbles looked like I was in like another world. And I just thought,
Hello.
this is where I want to be. And when you watch The Deepest Breath, I think it's called, it's a true story. It's a documentary. And anyway, it's just so peaceful. And as you know, like people are like, oh my gosh, I'd be so scared to go underwater. You know, there's sharks and stuff like that. Well, I think to myself, I mean, it's not that I'm not like, you know, afraid of, because I you know, it's natural to fear sharks and things like that. But that's how it was with mountains for me and bridges. And once I immerse myself, now I just see the beauty instead of think about the fear. And so now my next thing, I can't wait to be in the water. I was actually looking at water cameras to video in the water.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, because the
while back.
GoPros can only go so deep
Yeah.
underwater. So I don't know. So I'll figure that out. And then once
You
we get to
will.
Florida,
You'll get it all.
get it all figured
Get
out.
all your ducks in a row.
My ducks
Chickens.
in a
I was
row.
going to say chickens, but I think it's ducks.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back to the chicken coop and sleeping with the chickens again for a night. Just because I love those people that owned it. They were so great. And that was fun. But, yeah, let's see what happened. But who has time, huh?
Well, with all this hot weather, you should go if you go to the chicken coop, take a fan with you, and the chickens will appreciate
Well,
it.
you know what? Now that Jesse and Bailey are moving, I'm going to ask them if I can stay at their place.
Yes, and you can't.
And they'll
They
find
have
me.
a rule.
They'll find me floating in the pool when they come home.
That's right. They got a pool.
Yeah, because you have all that extra time to float in the pool.
I don't have a pool,
Yeah, and I can't stay overnight here.
and you can't. No, that's a rule.
It's a rule.
I can't have anyone stay overnight. Not even my daughter.
Not even your boyfriend.
I don't have a boyfriend. I mean, I'm too old.
You're
to
not
have a
too old.
boyfriend.
You're not too old. Well, and then when we talk, we'll tell them, you've told it before, but I have a lot of new followers, about how you manifested Dad.
Oh, I did. Yes.
She did.
It was with positive thinking.
It was.
Yes. And I didn't even know what I was doing back then.
Nope. So we'll tell that story on Friday.
Oh, it's a long story. I mean, I make it. My trouble is I talk too much.
I got that from you. That's who I got it from.
You did.
Yes.
You did. But Dad was very quiet.
He was.
He wasn't a talker.
Well, because
He only said what was important, you know.
Because you were talking all the time. You never
Maybe. I hope not. But you never know.
You never
Well,
know.
He was very nice to me. He didn't mind, I guess.
Oh, and just came to mind. People were asking me like what my tattoo said. Because some did, and then it's funny, somebody last night, this guy was trying to read it. Well, a couple people, that girl too. Because they go like this, you know, I'm helping them like this. And they're trying to like read it as I'm moving my
Well, read it for me.
And it says, the eyes of others are prisons, their thoughts are cages.
And that's true.
And
That's
so
true.
when I read that to them, they both stopped and was like, oh my gosh, you know.
It's very deep.
And I said, it just reminds me to not worry about what other people
Yeah.
think. Because when I started van life or even started thinking, I didn't tell anybody because I thought people think I'm crazy. I mean, they already knew I was crazy. You know, I did roller derby. I've sold vibrators on TV. like, I'm pretty crazy. But even that I thought was like too crazy. But then when I did tell people, they were supportive. My girlfriend at work started sending me like vans and stuff like that to, you know, check out. And they were excited for me. And then that gave me the confidence to be like, oh, people think I could do this and it's not weird. And they were jealous.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, you know, I think tattoos sometimes comfort people. I don't know. My granddaughter Anna, I don't know if you even know this, but you must. She was very close to her dad because her mother died when she was very young.
9, yeah.
And he, you know, took the kids everywhere.
Well,
with
he
him.
died 10
He had
years
a boy
later.
and a girl. Anyway, and when he died, she had tattooed on her shoulder back here, and I don't remember what it was anymore, but it was it's beautiful. I'll have to find out what it is again. But I think that gives her comfort, you know, and it's on her shoulder here because it's kind of long.
Well, and somebody asked, I think we talked about this, if that was a birthmark. Nope, it's a tattoo. It's a heart. You got it when you were 80. Your first tattoo after we came back from Nicaragua on a mission trip, and you went zip lining.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think they do give comfort to a lot of people.
They do, because for you that's like dad, you know.
Well,
I
was going to have him, you know, the original heart for your lovers. I was going to have them put. Well, you know, you'd see the heart, and then it'd have an arrow through it. And then it would have like Al and Joy.
Put it on your arm.
Yeah.
Mother.
I was going to have that, but then the more I thought about it, I said, well, because I wanted it here. And I thought, no, that just the heart would be enough.
And she has 3 of them. They're all the same. She has one back here and then one on her foot.
On the top of my...
Yep. That one hurt the most, didn't it?
Well, you know, one day I was shopping. This was quite a while ago. And I had sandals on it in the summer.
Yep.
And you can see the tattoo on my top of my foot here. And some woman stopped me and she said, "Is that a tattoo?" She thought it might have been a birthmark.
Oh, why
and
would
I
people...
said, "Yes, it's a tattoo."
If you have to ask if it's a tattoo, you shouldn't be asking. It's kind of like, hey, are you pregnant? And they're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you aren't sure, don't ask. Yeah, that's my advice for you.
Well, it wouldn't be too embarrassing. It's a heart. You know. I mean, But, and then one person asked me if this was a birthmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people didn't know
people
because...
asked me that.
That's what somebody asked on here, but they couldn't really see, but yeah. And I remember asking her, so she was 80, and we'd gotten back from Nicaragua, and that was an experience. That was a great experience, Nicaragua.
It just happened.
That was another serendipity kind of,
Yes, it was.
You said, oh, do you want to go? We were in church, and they were talking about, you're like, oh, we should go. And I said, yeah, we should. And then we did.
Yeah.
And then you were zip lining at 80, and
well, if I had the strength, I would.
And then we had like
travel.
a sports day at the end, and it was hot there in Nicaragua. We fed all the kids, and then there was a sports day, and it was so hot, and we were like, oh, do you want to, go to another station, Mom? And you're like, no, I'm fine. Everybody else were all like complaining, and you're just like, no, I'm good. But the kids were so sweet, and
and I remember there, I did. Was there more than one dog? I only saw one dog, but if you've ever seen a skinny dog, his ribs, but he was so sweet, and we would.
Well, and here we thought we were going to be like schlepping it, and like getting down and dirty. We had. Like the Taj Mahal of breakfast every morning. And we're kind of like, what about the kids in the back adoptive, building back there who are sleeping on bunk beds, Although our room wasn't, there were 4 of us in bunk beds in the room. And then there was one bathroom, and it was literally this big. And the shower only had like cold water. Remember, we couldn't
Yeah.
even like, and the shower
Take
was
a shower
like this
in cold
big.
water. That'll wake you up, or put you to no, it won't put you to sleep.
But then in our group, they got mad at us because we laughed all the time. We were cackling. I guess you're supposed to be serious when you're. Anywho, but that was fun.
It was.
So guess what? It's already 40 minutes in. Isn't that crazy? We're both kind of, I'm a little frazzled this morning. And we're like, oh, we won't make it as long today. And then once we start talking,
Oh, and then yeah.
it just comes
Yeah.
out.
But you know the little kids when we went
Yeah.
to the mission, they told you ahead of time when they were training you. I mean, you know, what to expect and what they had said. Don't get too close. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get too close to the kids.
Remember that one girl? I gave her my water bottle because she kept like looking at it, so I gave it to her. And I said, "You can have it." You know, it was like a thermos, thing.
Yeah.
And then remember, she braided my hair.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
sat there and she braided like Bo Derek, but
Yeah.
not. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
those kids.
yeah, they were great.
And I have to tell you, they were all smiling. They were happy. I mean,
Well,
it's nothing you would expect in a dump, and it was a dump.
a literal dump, yeah, La Chirurca.
It smelled like a dump. It looked like a dump.
It was a school in a dump. It was literally
Oh,
a
it
dump.
was in a dump. Yes,
Yeah.
their homes were just some
Shanties.
boards up
Yeah.
with those dark
Yeah.
green garbage bags over
You
them.
can look it up. It's called La Chirurca.
And the school was way in the middle of the dump.
But-
and it smelled sour when
Yeah.
you first went in. After a week, the smell didn't bother me anymore. Yeah.
But, if all your needs are that, because our basic needs are food and water,
Yeah.
if that's all you're searching for in a day, like that's your motivation and you get it, then you're happy. Do you know what I mean? So it's whatever you set your,
And I don't think they were so young. I
Yeah.
don't think they knew anything
No,
else. So
no.
it was
Yeah.
home.
it was home. Yeah. It was
But the
interesting.
teacher was a beautiful young woman.
Yep, she was from Florida. She was like 26. She was running the whole school.
And that was her career.
Mhm.
Teaching kids in a school in
In
the
a
middle
dump.
of a dump. I mean, she was fantastic.
I know.
She was fantastic.
Okay, you ready?
Oh, it's time to go?
It's already
Okay.
time to go. Okay. Go out,
And have an adventure.
make an adventure.
Make an adventure.
Or have one. No matter how big or how small, you don't have to sell everything and move into a van. Why?
Because you did.
I
Because
did.
she did.
I did. And sometimes
You did.
it sucks. Sometimes
Yeah.
it sucks. But
And
most of the
and-
time, it's good.
But most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go call someone you love. And as Joy says,
Tell them you love them.
tell them you love them. And don't you dare forget,
Forget
don't you?
the magic.
Your magic.
There
Okay?
you go. Yeah.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, Tracy.
All right. We'll see you in the next one.
We will.
Bye. We'll see you Friday on the live too. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.